Thank you for joining the second of our series of clips on supporting students with dyslexia. In this clip, Kate will be talking about reducing the cognitive load and the importance of scaffolding. Our brains have a limited capacity to make use of the information we receive through our senses: hearing, seeing, feeling, smelling, tasting, where our body is in space, and what our internal body is telling us too. When things are difficult, greater effort is needed. When we're stressed or anxious, our capacity shrinks, so information or input can get lost or filed incorrectly, which makes it hard to retrieve. It's a bit like a filing cabinet, for example. Our car insurance information could be in the insurance file or the car file, or both. This person climbing the hill is coping with the incline, rough ground, a hot day, and a heavy rucksack. We can't change the weather or make the hill less steep or the path less rocky, but perhaps we can lighten the rucksack. If you were given this sequence and asked to remember it, I'm sure that most of us would find it hard. I know I would. But if we split it into chunks, how much easier is that? This is an example of how we can reduce the cognitive load, and it's one of the key elements in supporting a dyslexic student in any subject and at any age. Chunking, or breaking down a task into pieces that can be easily managed and then fitted back together, is a principle that can be applied to anything and everything. Just like building a stone wall. The pieces are all different, but need to fit together in an order in order to create the whole. If you remove the need to think about that and understand the order and process, then each element can be absorbed and processed. By breaking a task into chunks, you're modelling that skill and gradually helping the individual to learn how to do that for themselves and become independent. It helps to think about what's the key piece of learning that you're trying to impart and removing anything that could get in the way. Too often, we talk to children while they're doing something, not realising the effect it's having. If the processes involved in writing take a lot of effort and the learner is spoken to, they're unlikely to have the capacity to take in what's being said while they're writing. If they stop and listen, often the thoughts and words they were holding in their short-term memory are pushed away by the new input. Providing word banks, frameworks, or just a list of bullet points are simple ways to reduce the cognitive load when writing at any stage. But what about the child who likes background noise? Some people want noise to help them concentrate, and it can be really necessary to stimulate attention. For others, noise-cancelling headphones or ear defenders can reduce the background noise and help them focus. Often, to understand what's needed, we need to explore the individual's sensory profile. In teaching, we talk a lot about scaffolding, and it's a term used about how we can support learners. It doesn't need to be complicated. We need to ask, what help is needed here and now to help them to achieve what it is they want or need to do? This plank cannot be moved by one man. They need help from others and the frame of the scaffolding poles to support them while they move the plank. Their aim is to move the plank. So any scaffolding that we provide, we need to focus on what is the aim of the task. So what does scaffolding mean in practice? In general, it means providing a framework for pupils, helping to remove the stress of getting their ideas down on paper, and providing order and structure to their thoughts. There are so many things we can do to scaffold work, and here are some quick examples of what we mean. We can give a child a list of high-frequency words or topic words to support their spelling for a writing assignment. Some high-frequency words have irregular spelling patterns that can be difficult to remember, so this takes some of the stress away from committing their thoughts to paper. We can model some sentence starters to get them going on a writing task. Or we can give a child a close passage, which is when we ask them to fill in the missing word rather than expecting them to write the whole sentence. Or we might provide them with a times table grid to support their maths. When writing, a frame instead of a blank piece of paper can be really helpful. Often pupils struggle with the task initiation, getting started, and they'll sit procrastinating for a long time as they just don't know how to start. Helping them by providing sentence starters can remove that barrier. You can create a plan together. Maybe they think and you write, and this may be a creative writing plan, helping them to order their ideas for a story, or plan the order in which to tackle homework, creating a revision timetable, or an outline for an essay. By helping them to plan, you can alleviate feelings of anxiety so they don't feel overloaded with the tasks that they need to do. If we provide subject vocabulary or lists and glossaries, they can attempt their homework with easy reference to the spellings of some of the key words and the meanings that they need. By reading the text to a child, we can ensure they're accessing the information they need, and it prevents a difficulty with reading getting in the way of understanding what's required of them. It may even be helpful to scribe for them if they're struggling to get their ideas down. What's important is that we do the right thing at the right stage, providing scaffolding and, when necessary, reducing the cognitive load. The scaffolding and support we need to provide will vary. We often see different difficulties presenting when a child moves to secondary school and the demands of the curriculum increase. The weaknesses we associate with dyslexia still exist, as shown here below the waterline of our iceberg metaphor, but above the waterline are things that we may observe. The behaviour we see is communication. These difficulties are often due to a delay in the acquisition of the skills we use in life and for learning, which are known as the executive functioning skills. These skills can lag behind others and make the individual feel like they're falling behind, that things are tough for them, and trying harder just doesn't make a difference. Just like a difficulty with phonics or word decoding, we need to identify what the pupil finds hard and then teach them and support them as the skills gradually become embedded. Knowing what we find hard and what others can do to help makes a huge difference, whatever our age. Thank you for listening.